Good morning. It's April 22nd. It's 9:20 a.m. I'm starting a little bit later than usual. I'm getting ready for a big trip and a little bit tired today. It was up late last night packing. Um, so wish me luck. Overnight, we actually saw some good news with the peace deals. It does appear that there is some sort of peace that was agreed to, and it does look like that was reflected in the overnight markets. So that does look good. We're going to take a look in a moment at all of the indexes. So let's take a look at the S&P overnight. We're already up about 0.5%. We're at 71.44. On SPY, that's going to look like 704. We took a look yesterday at numbers, and let's zoom in a little bit closer, take a look at the 15-minute. And again, we just have not been breaking back like over what we had the high of Friday. Didn't think we were yesterday. We didn't. We came up to it, came back down again to the low almost of Friday. Now we're back in like mid track again. So again, I think the range is it has sort of been set in this area for now. We're going to be playing ranges until we see a more consistent positive direction. So that looks like SPY overnight. You could see close yet last night, and then we went basically just a little bit back up, and we're heading up now. It does look like we might have a positive day, and you do have the opportunity probably to trade this. Right now, just before market open, it does look like we might pop up a little bit. So we have this little heartbeat that we might close, but I wouldn't trade it yet. I would, if you're going to do like a scalp trade, I would wait for just a little bit pullback to 707 or 708, and then maybe try to ride it back to 710. That's if you're trading SPY. If you're trading the S&P directly, we might trade something else, but the levels will be corresponding, like 71.30 on the downside, and then targeting 71.70 on the upside. But we can be anywhere around here. All right, that's the S&P overnight. We're up 0.5%. The Russell is up about almost 1%. Again, very similar looking chart, and I don't really need to go through it to pick out the numbers specifically, but NASDAQ is looking a little bit stronger. They're more at the top of their range. So it looks like the horse wants to get out of the gate and run. And let's take a look at the Dow, our industrials. Industrials are up about 0.7%. Again, that looks a little bit stronger, right? So I like that. If these two look strong, then we should see a rise in the S&P as well. Overnight, let's see if we had any additional updates from our alerts. So we had some alerts come in last night. And yeah, I'm just looking to see which alerts came in last night and if there's anything that we should be looking at this morning on our watch list. We do have a couple of so now this is interesting. This bear S&P just came up as a potential target. It's looking at the long trend on the S&P, and it's saying, "Oh wow, look at that. We're the bear direction is in an up direction, right? It was going down, now it's kind of reversing. Wow, that's funny. So it thinks that there might be a reversal on the S&P to go back down, but that's not the case. This is just this bear ETF. It's a false indicator. And there's a couple of them that came up for the S&P just like that. Yeah, we'll just ignore that. Okay. Top 10 net gainers. We have Citi at 132. Barrick Mining is at 41. It's pulling up. Barclays, Ford, Macy's, O Realty. Look at that. O Realty's at 64. O Realty happens to be good. I do like O Realty. And you could see that we actually have some things with a nice trend. Let's look at the hourly report and see what people are talking about this morning. They're talking about Raytheon and United Healthcare. Raytheon is flat today, but look at where they are on their chart. They're at 187. It's really low. I think that they have the potential for a turnaround. When is their earnings? Their earnings drop was yesterday. They missed earnings. They were at $1.50 versus $1.78. So let's see for some movement on Raytheon. United Healthcare is up $3. They're at $350. Wow, monster move. Let me just take a look at United Healthcare real quick. They're up at 350. Their price target was bounced up to 400, and by almost everybody. So their United Healthcare's price target was raised, and this is actually something that we might want to consider looking at if you don't already hold United Healthcare. You might want to consider adding it somewhere, right? Okay. So I'm gonna put a note on here to say that we should. So I'm gonna put a pause that. Let's share this. Create a post. I'm gonna call this April 22nd, 2026, and we're adding to our watch list United Healthcare. And let me post that. Okay. And so I'll update these posts as we go through the day. Okay. Raytheon missed earnings and they look a little bit low. So let's add Raytheon to our watch list. Okay. Down there, Raytheon to our watch list. I do like Raytheon at its current level of 187. So I would have a buy at 187. Buying up until basically, ideally 170, right? So like somewhere around 170. They may pull back, who knows, but they have a really good trend. So if they pull back, I would just consider adding to them long term and looking at this as a very long-term investment. And then you could see like they've pulled back several times in history below their weekly trend line, but they don't stay there very long. So absolute strength is like about 180, and that's $8 lower than here. So that's why I would say, if you can get in about a 180, that would be ideal for Raytheon. And I think they have good long-term potential. Wow, Vanguard Total World is up like crazy. Avis Budget had a crazy day yesterday. They were up insane, and look at they're just continuing to like run like nuts. Okay, so we're just going to ignore that one. Interactive Brokers. Let's see. They're down overnight. I don't know what happened. Their price target was actually raised to 93. Let's pull in a little bit closer onto Interactive Broker. They had earnings yesterday. they came close to meeting earnings. They missed slightly, but they were raised to about 90. They're at 80 right now. Let's see, what does that give them if we can find, you know, let's see, 90, well, 83 on the top side would be about a 7% move up. And they're at, that's like 10, that's $4 higher than we are now. And so we're looking for maybe like 12, 15% higher on Interactive Brokers. So you could wait and see if you get a little bit of more of a pullback, so it gives you more room to go up. And that's probably what's going on with Interactive Brokers. I don't think we got to buy that one. Encore Energy seems to be continuing to run. It's a $2 stock. Let's take a look at the weekly here on Encore. Just zooming out. It looks like it's on its recovery. We're close to reclaiming the weekly trend line on this pink, and that's pretty strong. So like if we reclaim this pink like we did in the past, we could see green all the way back up to 5. Let's see what they have, if there's any sort of price target or something like that with Encore Energy. But they do look really appetizing. So I would say let's zoom in a little bit closer on the 1 hour again to the 4 hour. Look at that. We're at a support level, about $1.94. It looks pretty good. I'll say that. Like Encore Energy looks pretty good. I would look for an entry, ideally at $1.82 to $2. Let's see what Netflix is doing. I am kind of curious. Netflix is up a little bit, but man, Netflix took a beating yesterday. They came all the way up to 106 and then pulled all the way down to 92. And we started, man, around 92. So I'm really shocked that it pulled all the way back. I'd expect it to kind of run back up there. I don't think it's going to stay down here. Let's see, Gevo. My Gevo I bought at $1.70. It's at $1.83 now. It's kind of just holding there. BTU. I'm waiting for energy to kind of come back. So I have this BTU I'm sitting on, and it just hasn't gone anywhere yet. Bitcoin is up. Bitcoin is up significantly. Bitcoin's at $78,000, and that's a really strong sign for Bitcoin, and it actually is a strong sign for the NASDAQ. So Bitcoin does look like it's making its recovery. It's in this orange zone, and I expect it to clear through this value area gap pretty soon. You could see in the last, month session, we went from 65 to 78. That's a pretty good move. I'm happy with that. Okay, Meta is basically, it's up, but it's pretty flat this morning. Oil is at 91 a barrel, so we're kind of coming back with oil going a little bit up. It's up 2.3% today, but it was sort of to be expected. I think we're gonna have some sort of turmoil. The price of oil will probably enter into the sub $100 range, a little bit higher, and then hopefully things will settle out and whatever. ISRG is having a move today. ISRG, I picked up this ISUL, which is an ISRG ETF 2 times, and they're up this morning. So what's going on with ISRG? ISRG is up 3%. They should be. I mean, their price target is 580. So it's all the way up at the top of my chart, and we're down here. So we really are aiming to get back up there. What I would maybe do is pair off some profits as I get higher up, maybe. I don't know. But I saw this double pin bar, which I had mentioned, I think yesterday when I was looking at it. double pin like that. Looks like it's a reversal sign. So there is that. All right. So let's see, what else do I have to do this morning? I picked up a little bit of Elf yesterday, just like a share. It's kind of flat right now. Didn't go anywhere. I'm looking for Elf to come back. I was looking at Elon Pharmaceuticals. They're also kind of flat. I wanted to pick up some, maybe a little bit lower in the 21.5 range, and then see if we get some movement back up. Interestingly enough, BITI kind of pulled back today. I don't know why. Because BITI is a, oh, that's the short ETF on Bitcoin. Okay, whoops. So I had a running long and short on Bitcoin. That's what's going on. Just in case. Verizon's off this morning about 0.25%. AT&T didn't have the best earnings, so I think it's taking its toll on Verizon, and so Verizon's pulling back just slightly. I do expect Verizon to continue, but they're pretty close. So if you look at Verizon, they have a price target, I think, of around 48, or I was looking for 48 on Verizon, to 51. I was looking to get up to here, but I don't like that it's kind of pulling back today. I'm going to just pull out profit, and then, when the market, everything else is going up, I don't like that this is going down. So I'm just going to grab what I have here and skedaddle. I'm pretty sure that it'll probably like bounce back, but let's see. Let me come closer in, but we're falling pretty hard right now. So I'm out. I want my money. All right. So I just wanted to secure that profit that I had, and we had about 7% profit. So I'm going to take a note that I closed the Verizon position. All right, let's see. What's Google doing this morning? Google's up 1%, so that's actually pretty strong. So Citibank is off a little bit. Barrett Gold is coming up. Macy's is up. These are moving about 1%. Let's see. What else is moving? Analyst upgrades. Let's see if we have any upgrades overnight. And we should take a look at, besides United Healthcare. Airbnb was upgraded to 178. They're at 146 right now. So they have that. That's a pretty nice upgrade for them. Seagate Technologies was upgraded as well. They're up 3% to 580. And it looks like Twilio was upgraded. They're up 6% to 154. They were up. Mizuho has them at 165, but Bank of America has them for 190. So they have quite a range, both of them. Waste Management came up on one of our scans. It's pulling up today. ISRG said is pulling up. Bitcoin is kind of going pretty strong. And let's see what else we've got. This this position in GFL, it's just kind of been sitting here. I'm looking for it to take off. They have a price target at 50. They're at 40. Lee Auto is up 1.7%. So that's another interesting one. Let's see if any more things come up on our scans this morning. So far, nothing else on the scan this morning. And, one of the things that's important to look at overall are themes in the market. And so, I use very often, I look at Twitter and I'll go through Twitter and see, what are the people talking about, right? So right now, the major themes are quantum computing, nuclear reactors, and photonics. So there's a lot of technology right now as the leading things that people want. Oh, and energy, right? Energy, because they need to power all of these things. So just look through our post this morning. Something silver options are being bought up, it looks like. So silver may in fact come back. Let's take a look at the price of silver and see what's happening with silver. So silver's up today 2% to 77.9 an ounce, almost $78 an ounce. We were down at $75 an ounce yesterday. That was a pretty significant pullback. And when we look at the larger chart, if you look at the weekly trend, we had this run from where silver was basically staying in the 17s to then 20s. Now we went up like the moonshot, and we went from 20 to 120, backed off to 78, which is kind of where we are now. And we're in a just level of just below the weekly trend, but it does look positive. So this move looks like it could continue back up to the 90s. And then, if you would draw your trend lines, you might get something that looks like that, with a potential, at some time in the next year going back up to the 120s if it follows this trend. So what does that look like if we pull into the hourly? We would want to get into silver a little bit lower, around 71, if it does pull back more. If it continues this trend, then 75 would be a good entry, and you would kind of continue from there. So we're going to look for silver continuation entries at $75 and $70 an ounce for entries silver. Meanwhile, Twilio is running, really interesting. And let's see what's EU continuing to do, because EU looked cool. Encore Energy, $2, and you have that potential to get those multiples. So it's kind of like, whoa, can we do it? They're up 2.5% today, right? All right. We're going to review some open positions that we had from yesterday as well, that we talked about on the show. Let's pull those up so that we can review those as well. So on our watch list, yesterday, we had adding in some Lilly, perhaps to our coffers, and it was like $900. It's at $916. It's up 1.5%. I think that would be a good buy. I would still buy Lilly. Gold, I said to buy gold yesterday, and that's up a little bit today, another 2%. Waste management we bought yesterday, that's up 0.35%. BTU, I said to pick up some at 26.5. It's now at 27 and change. It's up over 0.5%. ELF, I bought a couple shares of ELF just to get my feet wet. It's down 0.33% to 67.75. Not too bad. Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is up 0.25% to 200. I think NVIDIA is going to keep running. And I bought an ETF, NVDY, for literally just a couple shares. It pays a small dividend weekly, 12 cents. Not a big deal. But if you think that NVIDIA is going to stay here or come back or whatever, but you would just want to make some cash while it's hanging out, something like NVDY is not a bad thing. Likewise, BTCI, it's up 3% today because Bitcoin is up. It does pay, I think, a quarterly dividend. I would prefer something with a weekly dividend on Bitcoin, but, that's that. Okay, so yesterday I did take some profit on U, and it's down off 0.5%. I took a little profit on Hack. It's up 0.5%. Kroger's I sold. I took profit on. It's down a little bit. Albertsons is down 1%. We took profit yesterday as well. GFL, I sold a call against the position just to secure where we were, and it's up 1% today. So I'm just been waiting for this thing to pop. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I'm just waiting for it to pop. Capital One Finance, I took some profit because yesterday we were much higher than we are now. It is going up, but I just wanted to pull some cash out so that I have opportunities for other things. This was a mistake. I sold AEHR. I should not have sold it. I had a 7% profit in it. I was like, but it's up another 5% today. Crazy. All right. So AEHR, sometimes we make mistakes, right? That's okay. I made money on the position, just didn't make as much as there is left. Okay, so now I was looking at British Tobacco. They're up 1.8% today. I was saying you should buy them a little bit lower, and if you can get them in the lower 50s, but they're coming back, and I think British Tobacco does have potential to make a return if that's your sort of thing. I said yesterday to buy ASTS Mobile, put on the watch list. It's up 7% today, almost 8% today. That's crazy. GE as well. GE, oh, look at that. GE's off 2.5% today, GE Aerospace. Let's take a look in the news and see if we have anything. Why? UBS cut their price target to 350 from 357. That's not a big deal. BNP pulled their price target to 300 from 290, and Morgan Stanley lowered it to 400 from 425. So it looks like the military stuff is pulling back at the moment. So let's let that have a little breather, and we'll see what happens with GE and the like. And then Netflix again. I mentioned it earlier. We were looking at Netflix. Okay, now Netflix is back up 93.7. It's up 1.25. And let's see. We might actually have a nice turnaround on Netflix. It does look like Verizon is continuing to fall a little bit. While Bitcoin is really starting to rip. The ES is up 0.75% to 71.51. Let's just see how we're doing here on the 5. So it looks like at 9:47, we really set the range for the day already. And it has the potential for the day to walk up, it does look like. So let's just see. I want to see opening range breakout but I like it long here. I think we have the potential for a move up, but let's just hang out for a second and see what's going on. I did pick up a little bit of Elon Pharmaceutical here. Let's see what happens to the day. It's dropping pretty precipitously. Um, it was an open order that I had. That's okay. We have a little room on Elon for it to go down. But I think Elon overall, I mentioned earlier, it's looking pretty strong. If I zoom out to the daily, it has plenty of support within a few cents of here. 2022 I would think is closer to the bottom, another 50 cents, but it does have the potential to continue running. All right, so ES is pulling back a little bit, giving back some of the initial gains from this morning, which is what we needed to see. Zooming in on the 1 minute, it's back at the bottom of this 5-minute range. I'd like to see it, again, break over the range to see a positive day and to have some, you know, confirmation that we're moving. All right, so GFL finally is looking like it's turning positive. I'm just taking my money out of this thing. I know it has a higher price target, but I'm tired of this thing. I gave it a chance, and let's see if we just can't make a couple dollars out of this. Yeah, we're real close, but like I want to see I want to see my money. So I'm out of the GFL. Um, it went up the 0.5% or whatever it was. I just made what I needed to do. I'm out. It'll probably run now, of course. Now that I sold it, it'll run. But one of the things it does do is give me back buying power or trading power for the day. So we hit the 40. Let's see what happens with GFL. Maybe it continues. BTU is up. And let's see what else is going on. Bitcoin is still running, which is great. Healthcare is coming back a little bit. Let's take a look at the market sectors for a moment. I'm going to bring up the sector watch board and we can take a look. Let me close those two. And you should see now the big chart behind me. There's a lot of things behind me going on, and I'll open up each one at a time if you're kind of curious. But let's do a real quick scan, and you can see the colors. The colors really tell you a lot about what's going on that board, and what you're looking at. So let's bring in. I want to bring in one more chart because the chart that you're looking at is not the chart that I want to show you. So give me one more second. I'm going to bring up this chart. And we'll drop the chart back here. Okay, cool. So now you should see everything. Everything. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. All right. Your patience is amazing, and I greatly appreciate it. So industrials are up $52. Communications is up 0.5%. XLE is up 1%. Financials, technology, the ones across the top, XLB, XLC, XLE, XLF, XLK, all up across the board. Actually, they're all up in general. Look at real estate. It's on my shoulder here. So here's real estate, and real estate does look like they pulled back a little bit. So let me just zoom this out so you can see make a big chart. Now, real estate had a really good trend. They hit 44. They pulled back to 43 and change. They're holding here at this level of support around 43 and change. And I would think that, this area might be a good level of support for them. So 43.6 on real estate is where I would look for it to continue to go. And just compare it. This DRN, you could buy it at $10.50, and it's a 3 times bull. So if we think real estate's going to keep coming back, this should keep coming back. It was at $8. Like, was it 1, 2, 3? It was like a month ago. It was $8, and today it's like almost 11, 10.5. So this does look very interesting as well. This, just to put it in comparison, XLRE went from 40 to 44, right? So they gained about 10% in that time. In the last month, real estate gained about 10%. Meanwhile, this DRN, percentage-wise, is much higher, right? So it went from 8 until 11. So that's $3 on an $8 stock. That's what, in 35% or something. So it's 30%. So you can see it's doing the 3 times multiple of real estate. So this does look pretty interesting, and I think that we'll see some continuation in real estate. Now, zoom out on the weekly. We do have resistance at 11, so 50 cents higher. There is resistance. We're in that territory of moving upward on real estate. So can we see a recovery? Basically, yes, last year we were flat in real estate. This year we're starting to push up above the trend. Maybe we will set a new trend, and let's see if that can happen. I believe that will happen, and I think that DRN does look kind of tasty. I wouldn't mind getting in a little bit lower though on DRN. So that's real estate, okay, and we can zoom back now to the hourly. If we look at consumer XLP, they're also at like the top of their range. Let's zoom in this. Let's zoom out. Zoom. They're meeting a resistance level of around 82.5. I would get in at 81. So consumer staples does not look that sweet right now. It's a little scary. Everything's coming up, but is it coming up too much, too little? Those are the things you got to worry about. XLP, XLY is up 0.5%, and this is the consumer discretionary spending. Again, we're kind of sitting at a support level of around 119. So if we think that this is, look at this, there's a top here on XLY that we're trying to break over. So do we reject this level or do we break through? And that's going to be the story here. Traditionally, it does look like you come off of this trend line, you peak out and then come back down, up off the trend line, and then come back down, up off the trend line, back down, up off the trend line, back down. Here we were down, but look at this trend. So we went down under the trend line, very similar to this shape here, and then we gapped up and then continued back up. So we went, there could be that same sort of scenario where we will gap up and over, but we had this big stretch right there, which would be the equivalent of that gap. It sets a new level. So now it comes back down a little bit. We could expect it to come back down to, let's say, another dollar, 118, before it then rockets off and continues on XLY, if we think that that's the potential. And it does have some potential, right? And let's see XLY. Now, what's the components of XLY? And the XLY, you got to think about it. It's not just a symbol; it has components to it. So, what are those components? We're talking about Amazon, Tesla, Home Depot, TJ Maxx, McDonald's, Burger King, Lowe's, Starbucks, right? So let's take a look at some of them. What do we think is going to happen to Amazon? I think Amazon's going to continue to go. So Amazon's at 252. Beautiful, right? So you could just buy Amazon. You don't need to buy that XLY, but it gives you the basket and manages it for you. So Tesla's up 1% to 390, and it's in that basket. And so, right now Tesla's at this like triangle where you could see it fell down, and in the past it's done this. It came down to this support level and then it bounced off of here. I do have a warning level a little bit below us, right? So those orange boxes, I called them out, but Tesla does look good long. So Tesla looks good long, Amazon looks good long. Let's look at Home Depot. Home Depot is at 344. They're midway through their cycle that they've been going sideways. I'm not really looking for a big move in Home Depot at the moment. They're going to continue trading their range probably. We probably have inflationary issues that are holding Home Depot back. I don't know. I did see some spending came up, so people could do projects on their homes and stuff like that, but that's Home Depot. Let's take a look at McDonald's. McDonald's is at 302. It's holding by its support level. I kind of like McDonald's around here. I don't have strong conviction on price. Let's see what they say for McDonald's as a price target. How is McDonald's doing? Price target for McDonald's is like 330. So we're talking about another 10% up on McDonald's. They were at 340. So it's not without the realm of possibility that they do come back. And they are pretty low. So I would say this looks very tempting on the McDonald's front. And that's consumer staples. So I think that looks good. I would probably buy that McDonald's before I would buy the whole XLY, just because at least with McDonald's, you that has the most potential. I don't know, but that's where you look at these baskets. So XLV, for example, a healthcare basket has in it Lilly and J&J. Right. And we looked at Lilly and United Healthcare earlier. United Healthcare is up strongly. Lilly is coming back today. So that was also something that we were considering with the XLV basket. Okay. So we have a couple of things that popped up. Wow. Okay. So everything is turning around so much in the market that shorts suddenly look appetizing. That's what the scanner's coming up back with. All right. Let's take a look at what else is going on today. If there's any other trades we want to make. So Elon Pharmaceuticals does look like it's coming back from our initial entry. That's good. Elf is off 1/3%, but Netflix is coming back. Tesla, ISRG, Bitcoin is pretty strong. And okay, that's that. Let's look at some of the photonics and other movers today. You know, some of the big ones right now are these names like Credo, and they're revolved around energy and I'll bring up a big chart, a scanner list. Let's switch back to the big chart with the scanner list. Close the active trader. Bring it here. And now we can take a look at some of these stocks like Credo, or what's going on with Credo. Credo's up 1% today. Look at that. All right. Credo looks good, tempting. Lee Auto is coming back. Let's see who this is. Hi, this is Elliot.
Hey Elliot, it's Emily with Insight Global. How are you?
I'm sorry, with who?
With Insight Global, I got your message back on LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
yesterday for
Okay.
the Microsoft 365 engineer slash developer role.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So basically, just wanted to give you a call, see if you had a few minutes to run through it, as well as your background and just kind of what you're looking for in your next role.
Okay, sure. Just give me one moment, please.
Yeah. Take your time. I'm actually re-pulling up your resume.
Okay. All right, folks, I actually have to take a call, so I'm going to end the show now. And I'll probably log back in a little bit later, and I'll continue making updates to my posts. So please feel free to log in, like, subscribe, and share and comment. Thanks, and have a great day. The next couple of weeks is going to be very irregular, and I may not have my normal show, so please bear with me. Thanks.